Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Butcher StarCraft 2 multiplayer newbie journey. We have another TVT. However, this is going to be a much longer game than the previous ones, and that's unfortunate for me, as you'll find out, because my mid-game macro isn't quite there yet. I've only been dealing with early game stuff, and I've been mostly pushing through everything. And this game will demonstrate a lot of the mistakes that I've been making as far as this 3 racks push that I've been doing. And it was a learning experience, and hopefully this will be a learning experience for you as well. So let's get to it. Obviously, spread out the SCVs as best as you can and get to queuing. And finally we get a response to good luck, have fun, and I make a note of this as well. So far, we're pretty evenly matched. Sen is queuing, I am queuing. Yeah, first one in a few matches. What I meant was first one to respond to good luck, have fun. So it's nice to have some manners. Okay, so here we are, continuing to pump out. So far, no one's got the advantage. We're putting down supply depots at roughly about the same time. We are neck and neck, pretty much. Now, I'm going for a wall off. Sen isn't probably the smart thing to do, as, you know, we have destructible rocks right there. Don't have to worry. As we're in cross positions on Metalopolis, and we'll find out soon enough. You know, I'm getting my barracks down first. Sen is continuing to macro units. We're tied at 12 right now. Sen's getting us his first barracks. I've got a 1 SCV. I got 1 SCV advantage over Sen. Got my hotkey, and yes, we are fans of Total Biscuit and Husky, so if either of you two watch these channels, hey, you guys got some good stuff. I like watching. Anyway, back to the game. So I'm putting up the refinery, and Sen is just letting the minerals build. Sen's got a supply depot queued up. I'm going for my orbital command early. But so far I got the unspent money so far. But I go back down. I'm starting to work on destructible rocks. I scan and find Sen. So on Metalopolis, if you're Terran or Protoss, you really want to scan the close air positions first. At least this is what I do. I start building the barracks and I realize that's too close to the second barracks, so I cancel and restart again. I got Tech Lab going up. Yeah, it's a shitty wall off again. Pardon my language. And what do I do? Tech Lab is up, but I'm not researching STEM yet. I don't have enough minerals for it. And there I go, finally. I don't lift off this time, so that's good. I got my 3 barracks going down, I'm researching STEM, and Sen is going for an early expand and getting the orbital now. And I am pushing out Marauder. Now, in I think it was either replay number 1 or 2, where I said Mass Marines against Terran is the way you want to go, and I said that was right, and I thought I had enough Marauders to soak up the damage. Well, I'm going to find out later on why that doesn't work against a competent player. So, barracks number 2 goes up, he's putting on Tech Lab, he's putting on barracks number 3, he's got both gas. I'm working on stim and marine shield, getting up the second gas right now. Let's see, as far as units so far, I've got an SCV advantage, but unfortunately Sin has more marines than I do, and this is where I'm going to run into the problem. I'm pumping out a lot of marauders, not as much marines, and unfortunately 20 marines against 10 marauders and 20 marines wins, unfortunately, in this case. So he has a bigger army than I do, or actually I got bigger supply count. I think that's mostly because of the SCVs, but as far as army goes, Sin's got me beat so far. So Sin's got combat shield coming up, got another reactor going down. I'm probably going to steal this from Sin just because it's working. So he's already got the orbital command ready to go for a fax expand. I try to scout. I see he hasn't put down his rocks yet. I try to get the SCV away. Unfortunately, it gets too close to the Marines, and I lose that scouting. So, but at least I scouted, and I had the scan first, and I had the scout, so I saw a lot of Marines. However, what didn't register with me is that I was going to run into problems with my half Marauders, half Marines. So I start getting up my command center. I've already got my factory going up. Engineering base researching weapons 1. Tech lab is going up. And I'm going to get supply blocked, or I think I already got supply blocked before at 47. And I'm going to get supply blocked at 51 again. It's actually going to be a constant crawl up from 50 to 58, I believe, is the number. So I'm starting to push out. I got my 50 supply. And I'm going to see what kind of damage I'm going to be able to do with this early push. So far as the units go, let's take a look. 23 Marines against 19, or against 18 Marauders and Marines. Sin is going to win this engagement. 27 Marines, and he's got a lot of reserves. So this isn't going to work out pretty well for me. And starport is going up, a second starport. This is where scouting really comes in, because I didn't know about those two. I thought I was going to bring in my group and walk right in with my stim. He's got the high ground, he's picking out stuff that shouldn't be there. I try to wrap around, try to save as much as I can. So I initially get through those. And here comes the reinforcements. He's also got a tank out. And what do I have? I don't have a tank yet. I've got my expansion ready to go. My attack gets cleaned out. And he's going to be able to repair that supply depot. So these reinforcements I pulled back just because, that's already done. He's got a Reaper out for scouting, and he is going to find out where my base is. So I send out 2 Marines to secure this watchtower just because, since we're at cross positions, I want to know if he's going to be moving down by ground. And of course I had them on move as opposed to attack move, or else I could have picked that guy off. But I see him coming in, intercept, but he already knows where I am. So he already knows I'm getting my expansion out. He's got his expansion out early. He's got more SCVs than I do. He's got the better economy going right now. He's got 2 tanks coming out. And this is the start of where I start to lose, because I'm still pumping out Marines and Marauders as opposed to transitioning out of Marauders. Because in Terran versus Terran, Marauders aren't too useful. I believe, Total Biscuit, kind of made a quip once that, Marauders and TVT play was pretty stupid, and I think this replay kind of illustrates that Marauders, half Marines don't stand up against a full thing of Marines. And so he's got double starports out, one with the reactor, one with the tech lab. He's going for cloaked banshees, which is going to hurt me very much later on. I spent all the energy on my 2 orbitals on mules, which pumped up my minerals pretty far, but I didn't know what to do with them. I mean, 2400? That's a really crazy amount, and I couldn't spend that much. Or, actually, no. I wasn't spending that much. I was at 10,000. Sin was at 2423. That's a lot, but I can't critique too much someone who's kicking my ass right now. So, what do we got so far? We got medivacs. He's got his first banshee out. He's putting up a sensor tower, which was another good move on Sin's part. The armory's going up. The sensor tower was going to be able to look into the close air gap and see if there was going to be anything waiting on the other side. And because I didn't know about the starports, I didn't think to put up any missile turrets. I didn't think about putting any security on the left wall because all I saw was ground forces. And I do believe I get a scan in. I saw medivacs and I saw a lot of Marines, but what didn't register for me was, of course, medivacs can do drops. And already the 2 banshees are moving out. They got cloak, got plenty of coke to spare, and they are going to come in and do a lot of damage to my gas line. And of course, when I took this expansion, I didn't get the gases, and I didn't saturate them for a while. And this is my force. This is my second force moving out. I skirted around the edge of the sensor tower just to kind of surprise them, but what follows is I get my mains SCV line ripped up, and of course I didn't have a lot of SCVs to spare anyway. Of course my SCV macro dropped, of course. So here I am coming in with my attack. The medivacs, of course, get there early. Here come my marauders. And unfortunately, marauders and marines don't stack up well against full marines. Pick off some, but not nearly enough, and that's where I lost it, honestly. It goes on for another 5 minutes, unfortunately, but I have already lost the game. And here is just me trying to salvage it. My SCV count is shot to hell. I'm at 11 and 1 mule, whereas Sin is at 35 and doing pretty healthy. 34 marines, 2 tanks, 2 banshees, even got a raven out and 5 medivacs. And my army is looking bad. The small victory was I was able to yank that banshee into a missile turret. This is what happens when you don't scout. Yeah. You find out that banshees are coming when they're killing your SCVs, and you need to know those banshees are coming before. And of course, I got my mules coming out. I probably should have scanned. And that sensor tower is going to tell them that I don't have anything, anything waiting for them on the other side. So, get all these marines. That's 24, 28 marines ready to go into these drop ships. And of course my tanks that got left behind are going to get picked off by this banshee. Thought I told it to move back to base, but apparently it wasn't smart enough, and of course I still had my barracks rally to somewhere over here, and that becomes a free... well, actually not. I think it gets lost. No, yeah, Banshee picks it up. So here comes the drops. That is just a formality that I lost. But I lost much earlier than this. I don't have anything going. I barely have any... I finally have some gas going, but I'm not spending it. I can't spend it anywhere. The Vikings can't do much against that many Marines. Just rolls in like I rolled in the last 3 action games. And here, I got my small force trying to do something. I get rid of the Raven, but against that many Marines, As far as upgrades, we're actually even. We got the same upgrades. We got 1-2 upgrades, but Sin had the better macro. And recovered, kept on producing stuff. Here I'm trying to salvage as many Marines as I can. He's attacking my supply depots. Just playing here right now. I definitely lost this a while ago. Cleaning up. Here's the last vestiges of my defense. I thought that was mine. So here's the last. Yeah, take out 1. Take out 2 medivacs, but nothing going. And as I say, that is me. GG to LP Sin. You outplayed me. So what did I do wrong? Well, that much is obvious. In Terran versus Terran, Marauders don't do a whole lot, especially if someone's going all Marines and medivacs. As I was saying before, half Marines, half medivacs lose to all Marines. And he was even pumping out Thors, and not too many siege tanks, actually. I guess he was expecting some airplay. He was already working on his 3rd expansion, whereas I was mining from my natural as best as I could. As many, let's see, at that point, 3,500. Well, I guess just at that point, I just couldn't spend it fast enough, and I didn't have enough SCVs to actually go out and make stuff. Probably should have had them make some stuff and probably try to expand to a 3rd, at least get something going, but it shows that my macro falls apart after the first push, and it is hard. It's hard to concentrate, and I think a lot of other new players are going to kind of run into the same problem and say, I get that first push and it gets beaten back and I can't do anything after that. It's because you forget about your base macro, you forget about that next step. Thinking, okay, what should I be doing? Okay, I'm moving to attack. Go back to the base. Start buying stuff, because the time it took you to queue up all the way over there, you don't have, you have time to work on your macros when your primary army is moving to attack. And once that attack failed, I didn't have anything immediate to follow it up with. I didn't have an immediate plan. I was thinking, okay, I'll go tanks, I'll get some medivacs out, but Sin was way ahead of me already, just because the time between moving from my base and moving to attack, I lost all that macro time, just from concentrating on my army. And also scouting. I didn't see these two starports, so I didn't think to start setting up turrets along here. I didn't think to start getting some vision in this little pocket where, in the not-so-secret pocket, I guess you could call it. But let's see, as far as anything else, up until I started to push out, my macro was alright for a person of my skill level, so to speak. I had a couple of problems, but I didn't continue to produce stuff. Once this orbital command was done, I didn't think to float it over. I didn't leave. I got the Zelnaga watchtower to keep some vision. Sensor tower, I'm probably going to use that next time. just to get a better idea if uncloaked units are going to be coming into my base. It's, it's small, it's relatively cheap, it's well worth the investment. People know when you set it up just because of the ring. That's why I was moving that second attack wave around it, so I could try to be sneaky, but the medivacs gave me away, unfortunately. So, other than that, well, I've learned my lesson. Half Marines, half Marauders doesn't work against Terran versus Terran, so the next three barracks build I'm going to go is going to be 2 reactors, 1 tech lab, and it'll be stim and marine shield. Fewer Marauders this time around, and I want to try to back it up with a tank next time, just because, a tank with siege mode can offer a lot of help. And also, see, as far as the attacking, well, I can't say optimally I was going to win that just because more Marines and whatnot, but if you're in close air positions like in this, don't attack, right here where they can have line of sight over you and, attack you from above, because you can't attack from above. I don't think I put the scan up top to deal with that. That was the other problem. I only scanned once to find out where they were. I put in the SCV to see if they'd broken down that destructible rocks yet, but I didn't scan when I made my push. So, it was a tough loss, and I guess trying to think of anything Sin was doing wrong that I could learn from. Well, the only thing I could think of was the big mineral buildup, and I think that was just a case of not having enough buildings to spend money on, sort of the same problem I came into after the second push failed. I had a ton of money and I wasn't spending it. So, well, 4-1 so far. All good things come to an end, I guess. Well, this commentary in this playlist and this series will continue on, but the winning streak will not. Let's see if I can bounce back from this and see if I can improve it. So I will see you next time.